Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Yo boys, DDP here, and today we're going to have a look at the new affix on the Wolven beta, which is going to be Xal'atath's Bargain Devour. So I just wanted to quickly show you this and sort of like how it's currently broken at the moment. It's just going to pretty much break Pugs just in general. So obviously on the blue post here, which I'll state you what it does. So it says, while in combat, Xal'atath tears open rifts that devour the essence of players. The rift unleashes its energy after 15 seconds, healing all enemies in combat. And then the rift collapses if it's dispelled or players receive enough healing, granting them critical strike chance and maximum health. So yeah, if you just don't get healed enough, it'll just grant enemies healing. Where if you do gain enough or you dispel yourself or whatever, you're going to be gaining crit chance. One thing it also doesn't note in here, I know it does in game currently, it's taking like maximum health off of you as it's ticking, so it's not only like an absorb, it's also like a dot on you that's taking away your maximum health, so it's sort of like the healer's got to heal through that, and then after they've done doing the shield, they've also got to go through what it's dealing to you also. Uh, like I say, currently on the beta, the shield seems to be around like 90% of like players' HP pools, including tanks, so it's just like a ridiculous amount. On the beta, I think in the dungeon run that I did, I had somewhere between like 5 mil health as a warlock at least. And from what I've seen, healers aren't doing nowhere near enough HPS to remove that from like 5 people. They can dispel 2 of them if they do it instantly. I just think the debuff gives you like a 14-15 seconds of like being able to deal with it. So a healer can like dispel 1, and then dispel a second as it's like coming off cooldown. So realistically, they only have to deal with like 3 of the debuffs. But even so, it's quite a big ask. As a warlock, you'll see in this run also, I was actually able to dispel myself, so the healer had just 1 less person to heal. But even so, like I say, I've gone through a couple of runs today on the beta, and all of them are just pretty much been bricked by this affix so far. But yeah, I'll show you the gameplay. But yeah, this is the gameplay that I was on about. So particularly on this boss, it's really bad because there's 2 bosses, and the main boss, which you have to actually kill. Not the tree, the other guy, has just a ridiculous amount of HP, but he obviously gains the damage amp when you kill the tree. But you'll see here, at least the affix goes off, I dispel myself, and then he's left having to deal with like the rest of the 3 people that also have it. I think he also dispelled himself. Whether or not he's going to dispel anyone here, I'm not sure, I can't remember, but yeah, you'll see a couple of them will go off here. So the boss has got 2 stacks at the moment, and you'll just be watching its health constantly chunking up. I think I was sort of getting ready here to like do damage to the main boss, and then I'm kind of realizing, this thing's healed like 40% of its max HP, which is crazy. But yeah, you'll see later on as well. I think it's the same sort of thing. So yeah, obviously here we're just like damaging the boss, going through it. I think we had a person die here to actually, like I say, the affix is actually dealing damage to you whilst the shield's present. So on top of like AoE damage or whatever's going on, depending on the encounter, you've also got the affix that's dealing damage to you. So again, it's gone off here. I've dispelled myself, and then he's having to deal with. Currently, yeah, I think he's dispelled 2 people here, but it's still not enough. And he's once again he's got 1 stack here, so it's not as bad as 2 like last time. But even so, you can see like how much health they're gaining. Even the main boss is pretty much going to go back up to full health at this point, even though we think we dealt about 35% of its health. So I've skipped forward again. We did have a wipe, so we just kind of reset just to see what it's all about. The affix went off here. I think it's horrible timing here as the fear went off as well, and everyone's now spread. Like I say, I've dispelled myself again, and we're just doing damage to the boss. The healer has 1 or 2 people to heal here. I think, yeah, 2 go off, and you'll just see this thing's health go all the way back up again. Like I say, we did about 35-40% of its health damage, and even now, like it's at full health and it's still just getting chunked up. So the moment you get like a stack or 2 on a boss fight, at least it's just over. I didn't really see it go off on trash packs, but I assume it's not as bad. Seeing as I see the tree get the actual the buff as well, and it's not doesn't feel like it's gaining as much. I think it's maximum HP based, and obviously bosses have like less. Bosses will have more HP than trash mobs. So if it goes off on trash mobs, it's definitely still bad, but it's salvageable. Where if you do it on a tyrannical boss like this and it goes off, you're just going to be here fighting forever. Like I think on one of these attempts that I did, we were just fighting the boss for like 6 minutes non-stop, just because the healer couldn't heal the debuff. In terms of like how often it goes off, I know from the start of the dungeon here at least, we'll get our first one around this point, I think after the trash pack dies. I think the timer started at about 30, so it would be about 2 minutes in. Whether or not that's like a fixed timer or whatnot, I don't know. But you'll see in this here in a second, at least we get it on a trash pack, but I don't actually get to see if it heals it because it goes off and everything's already dead. But yeah, you can see everyone's health's just like, when it actually goes off at least, let me go back a little bit. You can see just everyone's health, like you can just see the border here at least, that's the absorb. So everyone's health just needs to be healed. And if this just goes off during any sort of mechanic that's like the healer needs to heal everyone at that point and everyone's already ridiculously low, I'm pretty sure just the affix on its own that's dealing maximum HP to you is just going to finish you off. So like outside of everyone just kind of blowing everything that they can to heal themselves, like obviously I can dispel myself as a warlock. I'm sure other classes can as well. I haven't really looked at what can dispel themselves, but other classes also have self-healing for themselves. You know, you've got health stones, health pot, whatever. But outside of that, if it's continuing like every 2 minutes, unless you've got something to like deal with it every 2 minutes, it's gonna be pretty rough to deal with, especially like I say, because you're having to commit to the affix itself and not uh, like the mechanics that are happening in the actual dungeon. So yeah, just like the small bit of what I've seen so far for a couple of keys, unless you've got like a really good healer that knows what they're doing, this affix is gonna be just gonna just brick your keys pretty much. Like the healer has to do so much healing in this like 15-second window, unless they can obviously dispel two people, which I mean every healer will do. There'll also be classes like say Warlock that can also dispel it, and but if they don't have anyone like that and they have to manually heal three people, almost their full HP pools, I mean they can do it with cooldowns, but it's sort of like at that point you're playing around the affix and not the dungeon to the point where if they need cooldowns for like certain mechanics on boss fights or trash packs or whatever, they're just not going to have them because they need them for the affix to deal with it. Otherwise, just stuff's never going to die. But yeah, that was like my small take on this current affix. Personally, I'm probably just not going to be doing keys this week because of this affix, unless I can find people that have just not got the affix into their keys. But to change this affix, I think they kind of need to move away from it healing maximum health. I'm assuming it's maximum health. I mean, it says here about it giving you maximum health, so I'm assuming it's doing the same to the enemies. So they just probably need to tone it down a little bit to the point where if it does go off on like boss fights, it's not just GG. Like I can imagine this is heartbreaking, but like I haven't got to a point yet where a boss is 20% and the affix goes off like one or two of them. But I can imagine it's just absolutely heartbreaking because you'll just get the boss to 20%, it'll gain us like 2 stack, and it just goes probably up to full health again, and then you're fighting just another boss. So yeah, it's just really bad at the moment. But yeah, I hope you guys just enjoyed my first impression of this affix. Let me know what your impressions are if you've currently had to deal with it on the beta, or just from what you've seen so far, what you think of it. Maybe people have like better experience than I have. It's only been out like I don't even think it's been out a day at this point. But yeah, if you guys have had healers that have been able to deal with it or whatever, let me know. But I haven't found any currently. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed, then like, comment, sub, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.